Welcome to the achievements of the Roman Empire. This is a overview of the most important things the Roman Empire did um, while they were in charge. All right, so here we go. You are looking at your notes right now. There are three columns. The first column is the title and description of the accomplishment. It's where you're going to take your notes right there. The next one is how does accomplishment affect people today? So, if it is something that we still use or has led to something that we use, then we'll write notes about it here. And then we'll talk about the type of accomplishment it is, whether it's a political accomplishment, an economic accomplishment, a military accomplishment, or a social accomplishment. And we'll get a little bit more into those definitions as we go along. Okay, let's start the first one. You'll notice network of concrete roads. So we're going to write that in the first column and underline it. And you see some text here, and the stuff that is highlighted is the stuff that we want you to write down. So you are going to have 4 bullet points on your sheet, and the first bullet point is going to say to improve transportation and to help unify distant parts of the empire. You're going to write that down. Okay. The second bullet point is 250,000 miles of roads connected to cities. So you're going to leave the white text alone. You're just going to do the highlighted text. The third bullet point is made of heavy concrete blocks set in layers of crushed stones. And the fourth bullet point made travel faster in the days of ancient Rome. Okay, as we go through this, I am going to read the entire slide to you. Then I'm going to tell you maybe a story or two that's going to help you understand this. So, the first bullet point to improve transportation and help unify distant parts of the empire, Romans built highways. Now, these highways were pretty neat. They were concrete blocks set in the ground. They dug a hole and they put something called aggregate inside. This is exactly the way that we make roads now. So it was pebbles, and then they put the big blocks on top. We'll show you a video here in a minute or two that will explain all this. Okay, so by the year 100 AD, over 250,000 miles of roads connected the cities of the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire was connected. All the major cities and ports and towns were connected by these roads. And the one advantage that this gives them is that have you ever tried to drive a car or a bike through a bunch of mud? If you have, you'll know that it is very, very difficult to do. It is much better to be on concrete or asphalt if you want to drive a car or ride a bike. Well, what happened was the Romans built these roads and they were able to travel on all these roads no matter what the condition of the ground. So it was a big accomplishment and made transportation go a lot faster. These roads were made of heavy concrete blocks set in layers of crushed stones and pebbles. We talked about that earlier. The extensive Roman system of roads and bridges made travel faster in the days of ancient Rome than it ever did again until the development of railroads in the 1800s. So the Romans figured out the fastest way to travel until we invented the steam engine almost 2,000 years after they invented this. So that is pretty darn impressive. Now, the big deal about roads is that not only does it make travel faster, but it also makes communication faster. And the reason it makes communication faster is because the only way you can send messages back and forth to people is by horseback. You can't call them, you can't text them, you can't send them an email. That technology did not exist. So if you wanted to send a message to somebody in another city, you had to write down something on a letter and then give it to somebody and they would take it there. So this made communication a lot faster. It's really slow compared to what we have, but made it a lot faster for back then. Also, it gave the military an opportunity to move quicker to places that it was needed. So somebody wasn't paying taxes in some portion of the empire, the emperor could send a legion of soldiers, and they would then go collect the tax and jail or kill whoever they needed to in order to prove that they were that they meant business. So this helps the military. This helps communication. This helps also trade, because the easier it is to get back and forth to places, um, the easier it's going to be to trade things. So the Romans were famous for trading stuff back and forth, and they had lots of diverse products that traveled a long way on Roman roads. Okay, so the next part is how does this impact our life today? So did you, let's see, use a road to get here this morning? To get to school? I know I did. So I know that I we are directly using the technology that the Romans gave us. We actually haven't improved it all that much. It is still the same basic thing. Is this an economic help? Well, yes, it is, because this is increasing trade and people are able to trade goods back and forth with each other and get richer. Does this help the military? Yes, it does. So it is a military accomplishment because the military can get the trouble spots quicker. Is this a political accomplishment? Yes, it is. It's a political accomplishment because it helps the emperor project his power. He can send communications faster and he can send soldiers quicker to different places. Is this a social accomplishment? Does this help society out? I'm going to let you think about that for a minute. Why don't you fill that in, whether you think it's a social or not, and tell me why in your notes.